Good morning, everyone. We are live again from Baltimore, from the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse site. Thanks for joining us. Much better weather today. Sunny, a few scattered clouds. Wind is up a bit more than it was yesterday, but we're here with you live. Thanks for joining us. My name is Cap Mandy, and you are on the Minorcan Mullet channel. Took us a little bit to get up here today and get set up. Sometimes that happens. Thank you guys for being patient with us. We always try to get in here and get set up as quickly as we possibly can. Sometimes it takes just a little bit more time than others. Chrome, good morning. All you guys, Harvey, good morning. Michael's in here, thank you. Michelle, Bernard, it's good to see. I know that your schedule, being from over on the other side of the pond, can get a bit challenging. Thanks for joining us. We're here, and again today, the Chesapeake 1000 is out with that claw, and they are working on recovering more debris. Now, with that said, it looks like today we have got a pretty well uncluttered view from the claw. If the claw is going down where it is in position now, we're going to see some pretty good video of any debris that comes up. Now, the claw was closed earlier. It may have had a piece of debris in it. They may have been putting a piece of that. It looks like they're trying to slide the barge back, so maybe they did go ahead and drop a piece onto the barge. It's hard for me to tell at the time because we're running around trying to get stuff set up. We still don't have everything set up, and we're going to be continuing to do that while you guys watch the video here. Again, thanks for joining us. As always, from Baltimore, thank you. I hope that you guys that are here with us had an opportunity to watch the modified 4K video we put up last night. It got up kind of late. Again, getting back in town, it takes me just a little bit of time to get things back ship shape, if you will. But we're trying to get back on our schedule of getting the live stream up for you guys as early as we can in the morning. Have a little bit of live discussion, and we can get back and try to get that video up for you before it gets too late. The struggle is real, my friends.
Channel mode.
Safety wires that got knocked off from this beam. My bow keeps getting stuck.
Try to get a little audio going for you guys here with the radio.
I didn't get it before.
If you guys didn't see anything there, we'll just keep covering that whole area, sneaking over to that 400 line.
Okay.
I know I don't say it enough to you guys. But thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I would have expected to see the kind of growth that we've had. This trip to Baltimore was something I felt compelled to do, and I'm glad, so glad, that so many of you have found it as interesting as I do and have stepped up and joined the Minorcan Navy. The reason I'm here is for you guys. While this is fascinating and I enjoy very much watching it, if I wasn't sharing it with you guys, there would be an empty place.
Yeah, on that coda boat, what does that look like? He's got to come, I can't tell which direction he's got to come to get that target you're looking at.
Locked.
There would be an empty place in my soul if I wasn't doing this. So glad that you guys are here with me and supporting the channel the way you do. In the background there, you can see that the Weeks 533 is moving. I don't know if she's just repositioning or if she headed over to Sparrows Point. We'll wait and see what happens. I don't have a script for the day. I never know what to expect, and I guess that's...
Copy all. We'll come around and we'll nose up on your port bow over on the barge.
On the Chesapeake you're talking about, right?
Cobb, thank you. Thank you for coming aboard as a sailor.
Chesapeake, this is a coda boat, that's correct.
With the Minorcan Navy. Thank you so much. And I don't know if you guys can see the waves out in the river, but it's conditions, while sunny, they are a little bit different from yesterday. A little bit more wind out here today. While we're waiting for that, we'll go over and we'll check out our wind indicator to give you guys an idea of what it looks like.
Bob, that's just ahead of you and to your left there. Try to get a little better view.
Our free
Alright,
wind.
Chesapeake, this is coda. We're nosed up on your port bow, getting orientation with the sonar to get a better image for you.
Thank you.
Wow, interesting radio traffic there. Sonar boat coming in to take a better look.
Okay.
See if we can get in here for you guys to see. Sonar equipment plays such an important role in this operation. You know, you can't see down into this water. The water here in the river is what I would consider...
We're marking where we believe there to be some salvage on the bottom with those fixed white lines, if you're seeing that on the stream.
Yeah, I've seen that. So it looks like he's got to come south just a little bit.
This water is what I would consider black water if you were diving in it. You can't see. There's really, visibility is really limited even on the best of days. Sonar critical to locating the information that they get back to the Chesapeake so that Chesapeake can make an accurate grab with a salvage grapple. The ship has not moved out. The ship is still in location here. We haven't heard when they may try to move the ship. She's still here. And it looks like they've got another stiff leg here alongside the ship. Windy conditions. The video may be a little shaky today, guys.
Lower down the pressure line, please.
All right, I don't know if, I kind of, looks like to me like we're over some of that debris, aren't we?
Yeah, that's correct. I think the biggest thing is it almost looks like you could rotate the claw about 90 degrees and get a better grab, but that's your call. Connection point between two braces.
Yeah, Roger. Okay. Well, let's just come right down there and do a grab and see what we get.
Roger.
So we'll see the claw descend. And hopefully see it come back up with another grapple full of material. You know, the anticipation of seeing what the claw brings up, what it brings up is part of the fascination here. Yesterday, while we were out, if you guys caught the live stream, or maybe even the video, the 4K video we put up last night, they found some pretty substantial pieces and brought them up, put them on the deck of the barge. Tiger, thank you for joining us here. Tiger moderating the chat today. Couldn't do it without him. Thank you so much. Andy Long, good morning. Thank you, buddy. Glad to see you here with us today. We're going to try to be with you guys here for at least 2, maybe 3 hours today. Live from the site. Thanks again for joining, everyone. Let's take a look how many 2,800 of you here joining us here on the live from Baltimore. One thing interesting about this, we kind of get an idea of how deep.
Yeah, I just came back up from the head. Yes, sir.
That claw is descending.
Get back on the west side of the bridge, right in line pretty much with where the Cape May is. And then we're going to slide the barge that we have, we're going to slide it ahead so I can grab some of this road bed and put it in the center.
Yeah, okay, we got to go around the other side.
Now, on the same side that we're on the west side, we're going to slide back and get back in front of these beams.
Okay. Alright,
Yeah, Richie. reach very good all the way across this bridge? Can you guys reach very good, like all the way across the bridge, or you have to get right up on the beams to get this far side?
I gotta be right up on the beam to get the far side.
Alright. I'll try and get that one, make a little room for you guys anyway.
Alright, standing by.
Well, it looks like they're in the process of repositioning the Weeks 533. And then also, if you look down towards the right corner of the view, we can see one of those excavators that has a grapple on the end of it. It looks like they are repositioning some of that debris on one of the barges. We can see it look like it just came by with a bit of debris in the claw. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that seemed to be what's going on. Maybe they are stacking that material at the other end of the barge to make more room for bigger pieces. You can see it looks like they're moving something around with that excavator that has that grapple on it. I don't think that's the shear. It may be the shear. You guys probably have better imagery on larger devices where you guys are. And maybe that does look like the shear. Maybe that's what that is that they're working there. Good morning to everyone. Main Girl, thank you for joining us. Timmy's in here as well. That 533 being moved around to get it in position wherever they're going to have it next. Good morning, Captain Brian. Thanks for being here with us. Captain Brian back in Control Center along with Tiger, helping us moderate the chat this morning. Great to have you aboard again this morning, Captain Brian. Over 3,500 of you here with us this morning, and we're just getting started here at the site. Let's take a look at the boom of the 533 while we're waiting on the claw to come up and see what they might have there. Yeah, it looks like they've got cable slings still on the block of the 533. You can really see the Chesapeake now, those ballast tanks with a good bit of water in it. You can see how the barge is sitting back. It tells us they're looking to pick up some load today. Good bit of ballast back there in the barge. Let's take a look around the site. Take a little field trip, if you will. Looks like coming off of the Baltimore, looks like they may have a basket working around towards the top of that support pier. They would have been on the north side. A lot of activity going on there today.
Moving his umbilical.
Looks like
Close left.
Coast Guard vessel
2 cars.
making a trip around the site.
Roger. Coming up.
Everything else that way looks pretty quiet. We'll try to keep an eye on this activity as well today. This area right here is where we've been seeing most of the activity yesterday. Again today, that claw, they've gotten it back down into the water. Now,
Out here,
for you guys that have just joined us, we heard earlier the sonar boat was
We gotta be
scanning
taking
some imagery.
this barge out here soon.
That listening to the radio traffic is immediately available through stream to the operator of the Chesapeake 1000. That gives that operator a pretty good idea of where that debris is down in the water. And it's still a guesstimate. It's still an educated guess as to where that is when they lower that grapple. Well, if I'm Mr. Rogers, welcome to my neighborhood, or should I say welcome to my deck. You're here with us as part of the Minorcan Navy today. Thanks for joining us. Almost 4,000 of you here with us this morning. Thank you so much. We can see the 533 moving behind where the Chesapeake is lifting. And it looks like the Chesapeake, looks like they may be coming up. It looks like that block looks like it is coming up. It gets hard to tell, and when it does, when they start up with the load, it's slow and it's steady. You want to be smooth, really smooth with that.
They're coming in to get the crappers.
With that claw. When you're taking the load, and also when it's coming up, you don't want to shake that around too much. take a chance on something falling out of the claw. Yesterday we saw a piece when they were coming out over the barge that came loose from a piece they had suspended and fall. It looked like it fell down onto the barge from where we are yesterday. A little more breeze blowing today than it was yesterday. Kind of see a little bit of whitecap developing out there on the river. The challenge is not only finding the debris on the bottom of the river, but keeping the debris in the claw as you ascend with it. The Don John group here has assembled some of the best in the world at doing what they do, and it is a privilege to watch them work their craft. If you're just joining us, I see there's some question in the chat. Yeah, the chip's still here. There it is. Ship is still where it has been. Since the incident. Still a good bit of debris that they got that they've got to deal with before they attempt to move the ship. Cheeky, I think that trying to get something out there to board that ship right now would probably be a pretty substantial challenge, considering the number of patrol boats they have out here enforcing the 2,000-yard safety zone. We are outside of the zone, shooting from approximately 1.5 miles back to the site. Thanks for joining us here, guys. You guys that are just joining, we're here live with you from Baltimore, where we've seen the salvage claw that's attached to the Chesapeake 1000 descend down into the water to try to make another grab of some of that debris. that's down on the river bottom. Jim, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
This is Coda. We can take a look.
I was gonna go to the box, the main box.
Coyote, that's interesting because we see a lot of positioning taking place, a lot of movement with the 533 right now. So maybe that is in fact what they're trying to do, get the 533 in the best possible position they can for some type of lifting. You know, the farther away one of these cranes is from what it's trying to pick up, the less weight it can pick up. The more reach, the less weight you can have out there on the boom. So it's understandable if they're taking their time, if that is in fact the case today, they're taking their time to get that week's 533 resolved, still working on the ship to get it ready to move.
Whether it's connected or not.
Hold off on moving that way.
Jimmy, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, if that salvage grapple has caught something in the grapple, it looks like they're being very careful with it coming up.
That's sticking out of the water.
Protected.
Now I want later on we need to see about getting a fuel cell or fuel cans so we can put fuel in this HPU. Okay, Roger.
I haven't checked on what's going on in Texas today. if we got anybody here in the chat that's checked on the news over in Galveston today, what's the situation over there? What's going on with the barge, the fuel barge that hit the bridge over there?
Previous scan, we just kind of overlay different times to see what has changed, so it's not always accurate for what you're seeing right now.
Roger.
We got to get Derek back up for another Waffle House adventure. That would be fun, man, girl. I've been trying to get Derek to come back up. Derek's work schedule has just not allowed him. Yeah, am I understanding this right? Hey, thanks, Rick. That the Pelican, this is the bridge. Is this the only bridge to Pelican Island? And has it been closed? Just so much going on, guys. So much stuff. And a lot of this is awareness, I think, that when the dolly struck this bridge and those 6 workers who were up on top of the bridge were killed, it's brought a lot of attention onto the dangers of bridge strikes. And I think where some news outlets would have passed over the opportunity to highlight this, and maybe some of the news coverage that mainstream media gives, it's now information that the public really wants to know. I think that is a good thing. But I also think it kind of highlights the need for better protection around some of this vulnerable infrastructure that we have crossing these crucial bridges. I may be way off in that, but I think there's a message there somewhere.
They need you? Yeah, I got him pinned against the Dolphin.
Roger that, okay. Alright, so we're gonna try and move, I guess. Are they out of the way?
Yeah, I got him on the Dolphin right off the bow of the dolly, man. I'm just holding him here, and me and the Patricia.
Oh, roger that. Do you think we can slide in there? We need
Alex.
to wait until they're out of the way more.
Goodness gracious, thanks for joining us this morning.
They can't put down the spuds at all because they were losing so much hydraulic oil.
Roger that.
Alex has a great YouTube channel down in South Florida. Another one of my YouTube buddies. If you enjoy fishing, if you enjoy kayaking, and if you enjoy both of those combined, you guys need to check out his channel. I'm trying to get him to take me camping on a kayak. Hopefully we'll see that soon.
the west. They maybe kind of jump past that beam and take a couple grabs in there.
Roger. Coming down.
Yeah, Tara, that's correct. That's the dynamic duo down in South Florida. I'm going to need AC. See, Bob's come aboard here with us as a sailor in the Minorcan Navy. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Now, if in fact the Weeks 533 is going to work on some of that road that's laying across the ship, if you look on the bow of the ship there, just below the black boom of the crane, you can actually make out some of that roadway that's still on the ship. That roadway, part of I-695 that crossed the river here in Baltimore.
Sean,
Andy, thank you so much.
You want us to go or?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll get a body from Reg if we need some help.
Yeah, okay. Want to try to get to Home Depot or?
Hey, Richie. I'll call you on the phone.
I hate to see that fuel oil getting into the estuary over there in Galveston. It's anytime you have fuel, that fuel getting in the water, there are consequences when that happens. I hate to see that happening over in Texas. Grabber 5.0 has come aboard as a sailor. Thank you so much.
Sherman Williams, yep.
Sherman Williams, I'm going to grab the card.
Delete B stepping up with the super chat. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
As a result. As a result.
Could you switch to 78, Captain?
78.
Still watching this, guys. Let's take a scan around. Check out the ship. Still waiting to see the 533 move. We've seen it get repositioned, but we haven't seen the crane itself move in any sort of position. Watching this activity here as well. Again, looks like they've got a basket that's suspended pretty high up towards the top of that damaged span pier that's there. That was one of the main support spans here on the bridge system. See some of those crews moving around on the barge down there. Wow, that really brings in the scale, the whole size of the operation. Again, shooting from 1.5 miles away here to be able to bring you guys this live feed.
Go ahead, open the grab.
Let's see what's going on back over here. Now, I never saw anything come up from way Chesapeake. But it looks like it's gone back down. Now the operator on the Chesapeake 1000 has load indicators. He knows how much that salvage grapple weighs, and any additional weight that he sees on that indicator is going to let him know that he in fact has something in the grapple when he starts to pull up with it. From what we've been hearing from people in the know with engineering backgrounds and bridge construction backgrounds, the supports that are still part of this system will go away. It will be a totally new bridge when it is constructed. It'll totally new design, and what's there existing won't fit into a new bridge design. Meaning all of that will have to go away eventually. Right now, the critical part of the operation is to get the channel cleaned out, get the debris moved, and get the ship relocated. so they can restore full commerce here to the port.
Kind of the actual live feed and the big one for like how they're manipulating it from different angles. Yeah, Roger.
Good morning, Ralph. Thank you, Tiger. I don't think it's fair to our subscribers that are here on the channel when they get cluttered up with stuff that doesn't really pertain to what we're a part of here in Baltimore right now. Good move, thank you. Sci-Fi, you know, when they rebuilt our bridge that we have now down in Brunswick, you know, those main supports were so tall that they were chosen for radio systems. They were so high that the advantage of putting up a repeater for EMS couldn't be overlooked. Those towers not only serve to support the bridge itself down in Brunswick, but they also serve another critical role in our local government there with being a good spot for radio repeaters. If you're just joining us now, we're still here in Baltimore. The dolly is still here. The process of removing the debris is ongoing. This past Monday we saw the piece of bridge that was laying across the ship. Demo teams came in with shape charges and they cut that beam away. A lot of that material is falling away and they're working on cleaning that up. You know, a lot of that material when it fell over had to be really close to the ship, and you can imagine they want to make sure that that area is clear before the ship is attempted. There's any sort of attempt to move the ship. You don't want to cause any more damage to the hull of the dolly. Massive weights involved with these pieces. Takes a little bit of time. Don John has been out here working as hard as they can to get the debris up. The contractors that they've assembled, some of the best in the world, no doubt about it. Dean, I don't think that the grapple itself has any kind of shear on it.
Roger, yeah. As long as we get it to the main deck somewhere, the lower to the boat.
Now, we have seen.
I guess 2 or 3, and you'll have myself to work with. Thank you.
We have seen in the past where the Chesapeake and that claw brought up some pretty big pieces of material, and we saw the shear that was that's mounted on that excavator help with cutting up some of that. We've also seen that happen over at the Dale Pyatt dredge barge. We saw them pull up a big piece, and the shear helped those guys manage that piece to get it up on deck. Good morning, Teresa. The triple threat is now here with us in the track.
We're trying to go get him on the other side of that cord that he just grabbed, so trying to get him in the middle of the structure.
Thank you, Tiger, Captain Brian, and Teresa. Thank you so much.
Side of that top cord that he grabbed, we're just trying to get him into the middle of the piece. So.
Copy.
Wind here at the site continues to build. You can see a little bit of whitecap beginning to form out in the river.
I think we're far enough ahead there, Paulie, so whenever you get your wires straightened out.
Roger.
Now we heard earlier on the radio traffic, sonar boat came in helping the operator on aboard the Chesapeake 1000, sending images.
This is one badass bucket.
To the operator so they could kind of get some better idea where that debris is that they're trying to grapple. It's a lot like fishing. Little to no visibility here in this water of the harbor. A lot of sediment.
The whole span.
Understand.
A lot of sediment in the water. Really have to rely on the electronics and the data that they provide to help give a better picture of what's down on the riverbed. The Weeks 533 in the background, still trying to work its way into position. The skill of these tugboat crews called upon every day, moving these massive assets around on the site and still working against current, wind, and then debris. It is a challenge. There's no doubt.
Sean, does it look like I'm losing weight? Looks like that thing on top of something.
Yeah, the whole rub rail show.
Yeah, it looks like the bucket's falling over to the right. All right, close the grab.
Roger.
Looks like did we hear the traffic there to close the grapple? Russell, I'm not sure what you mean. They are right up against that span that dropped when those charges went off. Is that what you're talking about? They're right there, buddy. That's the piece that they cut. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to be a part of the live stream. I know you guys invest your time with us. We're going to try to give you the best possible images we can from here in Baltimore. Thank you guys for being with us. If you've just jumped into the chat, just jumped into the live stream, we're watching the Chesapeake 1000. That's that yellow boom that is on the left-hand side of your screen. The cables that are coming down vertically, those two lines of cables are attached to that giant salvage claw. And they are working on picking up some of that debris that was generated when the bridge span that was laying across the bow of the dolly was cut with those shape charges.
You just want to still lower to the 400 now? Copy.
It looks like something is up, being picked up by a crane over on the right hand side of the screen. We see something swinging over that way. Is that a container? You guys that have better imagery, what are we looking at there? Okay, toolbox or a lunchbox. Looks like the wind is playing a little bit of havoc there with that lift. And that could be a multitude of different type of equipment. Could be an air compressor. Could be, like some of you have described, a toolbox or container with equipment in it of some sort. Could be a container holding some oxygen and acetylene tanks that might be necessary for some torch cutting. seeing a lot of movement now on the where the attachment point is from the block of the Chesapeake down to that grapple.
By 12 inches. 2 pieces. I need 2 pieces, 22 inches by 12 inches.
Tight, Sam?
No, you got a couple feet of slack.
Roger, leave it the way it is. Let me know when it's done.
Battery monster struck us again. On the receiver for the microphones, we're back with you guys now. Sorry for the earthquake. And it looks like they may be trying to come back up with the grapple. Thanks, Bruce. Bruce is seeing the same thing I'm seeing. It looks like the Chesapeake is taking a load.
They're port side, right? Roger that. What we need to do is we need to have stern with all the gear on it towards the bow of the dolly. Coming in on with the 10 is got to be butted up to the 533.
Okay, so I'd need to make up on the other side, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we can either do that now, or if you guys want to get out there and then switch around. I don't know how you guys want to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. If I got room, if we can swing it out far enough that I can get between you and the dolly, I can get made up on the starboard side, you know?
Hey, if that's what you guys want to do.
Alrighty, either that or the Connex side is going to come towards the dolly, or the opposite side.
Well, we got the spud in up on the stern here, on the working stern, so we'd be swinging out to the dolly stern, or that side would be swinging out. Right where you're coming in right now, that's gonna...
Roger. Gotcha. Okay. Now I was just trying to see if it'd have been easier for me to just make up in push gear, but I can get made up on the inside of it if the opposite side you said is going to be going towards the dolly, right? That you're working stern.
They do. So maybe we can do something else instead.
Okay. All right. Well, I can always just grab it on the hip. We can get out in the open water, you know, and switch around.
That's probably the best plan, so we don't scrape the dolly or do anything like that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Hey, Lincoln, if you want, I can pull this end out and you want to squeeze in there, or you want to make up here?
That's what we were gonna do, but it may end up going against the ship. I'm not sure. I tell you what, you can try to open it up and see if you can open it up wide enough for me.
Side with the dolly.
Interesting exchange there from the crews with the 533, and you can really appreciate the skill and the coordination necessary to position some of these big barges around the site.
We'll move you out of here, and then we can regroup on the other side.
Okay, I'll cut my headline loose, Lincoln, and then just get down by the spud while you get made up.
Yeah, usually when we reference Brunswick, well, when I reference Brunswick, I'm talking about home, the Port of Brunswick, Georgia. Seeing some more movement there with the block from the Chesapeake. We've got rotation on the 533. Clearly seeing the grapple now coming up out of the water.
Not bad.
Nope.
We can probably just snatch that leg. The way it fell can't be attached to much down below.
All right.
More crane movement over to the right. We're going to try to see if we can shoot over that way and see just a little bit. We got that pole that's right there, the flagpole. Try to get over and see what we can see over there. Want to really see what the grapple's doing.
A little bit, Billy. $350, Billy.
Nick, real quick. Let him come up with the spud. I'll kick the stern back out. I may get you to pull the bow out some so we can get turned around in that wind.
Okay, let me get a line up.
Still waiting to see, trying to make out what's in the grapple.
I'm all out of gear.
I'll stop. I'm all stop.
Alright, so going up, we'll let you know when you lose. Give me a second here.
Alright, coming down.
Okay, you can go ahead and back on it.
Back and easy.
Set up right there. I can put you.
Yeah, that's fun. I'll just try and set up in a way that it's not going to eat my tag line up.
We're watching the grapple come up, and over on this side,
If he's going past the ladder, he's going to have to come out and go around it.
crews have been working in the area of
See off to the port side,
the
right
North
in front of my bucket
Main
right there. You see that?
pier.
It looks like an A-frame that's sticking up so high.
Yeah, there's a little short piece real close to the dredge.
No, the A-frame that's sticking up like 40 feet on the other side of my bucket.
Oh, that one, okay.
We're going to set the dredge up pretty centered to that, or maybe even just a little bit this side of it. That way the shear can come alongside and cut that smaller beam off.
Okay, they get ready to leave over there with the Kessel, so they're looks like they might kind of be in our way, but I think they're leaving. Looks like.
Okay.
So yeah, it does sound like that radio traffic is associated with the Dale Pyatt operation. We'll try to pull up the tracker.
This side of it. A little bit.
We're going to be a lot this side of it. I'm only talking about that one that's sticking up like 30 feet in front of my bucket, Tommy.
Okay. I can't see the spuds in the way. I'm looking at that other one closer to the ship.
I saw.
It definitely looks like the Dale Pyatt is over on the starboard side of the ship. We can't see it from here. And a lot of the
Move
radio...
into position. I don't know if you guys want to get ready to move around too.
I'm just hanging back here watching him. I'm going to follow y'all through the bridge there.
Roger that.
When I get alongside, we're going to have to... what side of this barge are you going to need?
So the way we're pointed right now is what we're going to be doing off the bow.
So a lot of the radio traffic that we're hearing is associated with those guys. We cannot see them from our vantage point here. But
This bow. If we got to do something different, we can go one way or the other.
Well, so you guys are going to be on our starboard side over here with the 866.
Okay, well that should work out pretty good then. I think that's the way we're made up.
Roger.
Okay, yeah, we'll just follow you through there, and whenever y'all ready, just give us a yell.
Roger that.
a lot of activity going on here today at the site.
Want to straighten up the dredge first before we pull it, move it.
Alright, come up with the starboard there, you can bring it to the stern to the port.
Now we've seen the claw come up. I haven't seen it come up where I can clearly see what is in the grapple. But it looks like they may have lowered it now. Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure to have you back on watch. Thank you very much.
Kai, coming up, Captain.
Yeah, it does look like this is a challenge. Or whatever they are working on getting up with the Chesapeake now.
Yeah, we're moving back slowly.
Hook it up, Robert.
Whatever it is, just to sway the cables like we're seeing now on the Chesapeake has got to be a pretty substantial force down there to make that happen. You know, we've seen the video of the claw and the Chesapeake up close. There's nothing small on it. When you see the cables and the blocks moving like that, you know there's a pretty substantial load on it.
Not a fish and not a buzz, so I'd say that's a strikeout.
Yeah. I'm just covering for a day or 2 here.
Oh, nice. All right. I was just talking to Max. Are Peter and Carlo coming out with you right now? Yeah. Okay. Can you relay to them? We're gonna have to leave here around 12:35, 12:45 in order to head in to pick up a VIP from the cruise terminal. But if they want to come out and take a peek at this electric, we should probably have enough time to run them back into the pier so the Eric doesn't have to hang around.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'll let them know. They're in. Whatever they usually do. We're running full here.
But yeah, just let. I'm going to come off from alongside the Eric so you can get tied up to the cell, and then we'll put a line up and they can come over and do whatever they want, and we should have plenty of time to run them back in.
Okay, all right.
All right, thanks. We'll see you in a bit. We'll get fired up now and get off here.
Was it confirmed that you're going to give him a ride back?
I mean, to me, it makes the most sense. They were down in the engine room. He was going to have a conversation with them, but I don't see the need for you to stay out here if we're going to be heading back into there anyway.
All right, I'll just stick around until I get the word from them.
All right, sounds good.
Raypack, thank you. Thank you so much. Looking at what appears to be a crew boat kind of backing into the dolly. Picking up or dropping off.
Easy there, fellas. Easy.
Do the other way. We're falling back. Drop the spuds. Much further to the port we gotta go?
Probably 65 feet, at least a full dredge width.
Enough to stop it. Let it settle out.
You're so right. The consequences of a mistake
Whatever you need, Sean. Not in a
Here.
rush.
could be so very costly to some of these crews. And we want to see everybody that's out here on the site back home after the shift.
Point comfort. Hey, Vicky here. Hey, Jim, just a heads up, I don't know if anyone told you, but you do not have to announce arriving or departing in the safety zone anymore if you are going to be not impeding the channel, so just a heads up.
Oh, I was getting ready to ring them up. Okay. All right, then.
Yeah, no problem. I think they're getting tired of all the back-to-back calls, so we only need to call if we're going to be impeding the channel.
Backslab, thank you. Thank you so much. We've been at it here for about an hour and 45 minutes here with the live. Conditions, I gotta say, much better than they were yesterday. The wind is up a little bit as compared to yesterday, but crews are working.
Good stuff. All right, thanks, man. People helping people. Oh, yeah.
Looks like we can see some cutting going on there on the left-hand side of that support pier.
Giving you all I got.
Definitely can see some sparks coming from there.
Line up. Got 2 wraps on the top bar.
Good point, Randy. Not only that, we don't know what that grapple has got in the claw when it's closed and coming up, and maybe it's coming up in a way that it's going to be really dangerous when it breaks the water for the cruise or for the barge that they're going to be putting it on, or you know, a lot of different variables. Those operators have to manage all of those risks when they got a lift coming up. Sandra K, good morning. Good afternoon. Is it morning or afternoon? We're coming up on the afternoon, showing about 8 minutes left before noontime here, local time in Baltimore. And you guys are watching live stream with us. A lot of activity out on the site today.
Green, can you take a look for me and see if we can start drilling, or we're gonna have to move? See whether we're far enough outside the channel.
Haven't heard when they're going to be moving the dolly. From our vantage point here, it looks like they still got a good bit of material they need to deal with there in the area of the bow where all that damage was before they make that attempt. Not to mention they're still clearing debris from when the demolition teams took out the span on Monday. Well, Olivia, good morning. It's good to see a youngster here with us today, watching history. Hopefully you will never see anything like this incident again in your lifetime. But thank you for being here with us.
Overload. Right over it.
Trying to make out now if we're seeing the claw come back up. It looks to me like, yes, in fact, they are making some headway coming back up with the claw. Thanks, Todd. Yeah, we've seen some people moving around, some of those salvers working down there, guys with the crew. From time to time, we can make them out. Again, we're
grab that cleat right in front of me. Would be fine.
over a mile and a half away from the site, trying to give you guys the best possible images we can.
Channel, so I'm
We're tussling a little bit with the wind today.
Like the one we're gonna get, or like the same model?
The one they ordered for the Eric ended up on here, and now they have to order another one for the Eric.
Oh. Huh. Last I heard, they only had one section of the line.
Okay, I'm just hoping for it before we have to start dragging this ship around.
Deeper. I went down to almost 50.
And it looks like starting Friday afternoon, the end of the evening, weather here locally is not going to be great, and doesn't look great for Saturday with about an 80% chance of rain. For most of the day. Now that's rain. It doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of wind associated with it. Looks like a rainy day. As long as the rain is not horizontal, we're going to be here with you guys. If we can get set up, if the rain allows us to get the equipment into position to set up, we're going to be here with you guys again live Saturday, even though it looks like they're going to have some wet weather here on the site.
There?
Yeah.
Definitely can see the claw.
What'd you say, Rob? Sorry,
breaking the water. It's coming up.
1.5 by 1.5.
Can't make out what's in it yet.
15, 20 feet back from the bow over here.
You guys
I told you I got out of that beam yesterday.
Yeah, he knocked out one of the hatches and then ripped up the deck too.
You'll have that in this business.
Don't look at me like that, Richie.
You guys that are watching on bigger devices, If you can see what's coming up in the claw, jump in there and let me know. Yeah, Todd, it's part of the occupational hazard. The water doesn't bother me too much. You know, getting wet, wind doesn't bother me too much. You know, rain doesn't bother me too much. It's when I get more than 2 of those at the same time, I start to question why I'm involved. Yeah, keep in mind that ship has ballast tanks.
We're moving them down some.
And they can add water to those tanks to help trim the ship, from what we've been told.
One tick, and then I'm going to have to go get the other barge. Is that what we're doing?
They added ballast water to the bow tanks to hold it in place during the time of the demolition of that span. They didn't want to see the ship react in a violent way when that weight came off of it. And from what we saw, there may have been a very small amount of movement. I'm sure there was some movement, but it wasn't substantial and it wasn't crazy. Claw opening again. Is that what you guys are seeing? It's hard for me to make it out here on the monitor. Thanks, Alan. Alan's saying that they're working over there with that shear. We heard radio traffic that they were going to, they had something up over there and they were going to need the shear to cut over at the Dale Pyatt dredge barge. For you guys that have the opportunity to watch this stream combined with the Stream Time live video that's been up, you guys are probably getting a much better visual of what we're hearing as what's going on around the site.
Here, you know.
Now it looks like they may be working a piece of the bridge there off of that
Okay,
crane.
if you think we're okay, or
See something
we can
swinging.
wait. Well, I guess once the pilot turns up in here, we gotta really be picking some spuds up then. So, if you think he's gonna be all right, maybe we'll go to work. If you're scared, say you're scared. Let me, you want to wait for the pilot, or you think I should wait for the pilot, or can we go to work, you think? guess he's already on the ship? Okay, Cap. Alrighty. Alrighty, man, we're gonna go to work then. Appreciate you taking a look for us. I mean, it ain't much, but if I had to, I could move this little boat off the stern if that made anybody more comfortable. But as long as it suits everybody, I'm good with it. Alright, bud.
Whatever piece that they were cutting, it looks like they have gotten it back down. We saw it kind of swing in there. Looks like they may have gotten it down on to the deck. Not just one spot is work being done on this site. Work's being done in multiple locations across the site.
Need your help on that barge, man. You want to jump on here or you want to get on the barge?
We've been hoping to see
Boat's coming down.
the Chesapeake 1000 bring up another big piece of debris. We've seen it go down and come back up a few times now, but we've yet to see.
Oh, is it? Alright, I'll come up a little bit more with it, see what it does.
10-4.
Whatever they're fishing for come up out of the water. So we've got
We
this.
can basket that chain through the handle. Might be a little stronger.
Yeah, that's what I'm a little worried about.
Yeah, let's bring it back down. We'll basket it.
You know, I read the NTSB report, and they had trouble in the port when a exhaust damper was closed, shut down one of the generators, and in the process of that shutdown, I think the decision, from what I understand, was made to fire up the other generators, which had been offline for about a month and a half, and that's not unusual. You know, you're accumulating hours on a generating plant.
George Ritchie, or is that shallow?
You kind of spread them out.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to have to do that and then do a tugboat landing. Can't do it the way I normally do it. It's too heavy. Too much wind. Okay, cool. I'm not going to hit nothing. All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and New York this one, all right?
From what I read in the report,
10-4.
when they started the number 3 generator, there was a dropout on fuel pressure at the engine, and depending on load, depending on what was going on at the ship at the time, it may have been functioning fine.
Her in there, and maybe you can just pin me up against it.
Alright.
But I can tell
I
you,
can do that too here on the 10. It's, I'm a little more, easy for the space.
I was talking to the 10. Yeah, man, if you don't mind. Yeah, it'd be, you're a little bit handier.
Yeah.
but I can tell you that when as load increases, there's more
Hold that. Cable up.
drain on the engine. That in turn
Yeah, I might
requires
need to try
more
to boom
fuel.
it out.
If the fuel was not getting to the engine, and the engine was not able to turn up the required RPMs to generate the energy necessary for the generator plant, it would have kicked the circuitry. That would have happened. That would have been a natural response to the system. Maybe it was a fuel related or a fuel delivery issue on that number 3 generator. The preliminary report is available online. We put it up last night when we put out our 4K video. I know it might be a little frustrating to look at it. You're going to have to stop it frame by frame to look at it, but it's there. You guys can certainly take a look. And it may be at the time when that number 3 generator was running and the load was not that great on the system. All the needles were pointed in the green and everything looked fine. But as load was added to the system, maybe that's what caused it to load up, and then it caused a condition where the circuitry opened, where those circuits opened.
We can try it again, but I think we're gonna have to cut it.
Alright, we'll try it, but so ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that Dr. Macagliano, when he went through the report, would have looked at it thoroughly. And if you haven't done it yet, be sure to go check out what's going on with shipping. Dr. Macagliano does a great job over there. And while this is a preliminary report, it does begin to shine a little light on what the team was focusing on. Thanks, Top Cat. Yeah, that report is available. And you guys can certainly download it and look over it. The NTSB report geared toward safety, finding issues and problems that need to be corrected across the industry.
Yeah, because I don't know, it says something about airdrop, I don't know.
Okay, Teresa, enjoy your lunch. Thanks for being here with us.
I'm going to need you to stay where you are. So I'm going to come in and do a tugboat landing. You're going to push the bow in. Then I got to break down and slide her in.
Did I read that, Robert? The ship, the steerage, I thought from what I read in the report, the steerage was reduced on the emergency generating system, but it wasn't. It would not have responded as quickly as it had it if the main generating system was online. I thought that's what I read in the report.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you see where the
Well, they were in the process, John, they were in the process of cleaning the exhaust scrubbers. I can see that happening. I can see a crew guy making that kind of mistake, and that just shut the generator down. It caused back pressure on the engine, and that shut down. That happened in port. It wasn't when they were ongoing.
All right, we're all clear?
It seems to me that the issue is with the number 3 generating plant. That's where, if it was me, I would be taking a really close look at that system, because after that one shut down is when they made the decision to take the number 1 and 2 system generating systems off and put the 3 and 4 on. They've been running the 1 and 2 for about a month and a half, from what I understand in the report. Figured it's time to add some hours on the 3 and 4. Give 1 and 2 a rest.
Okay, head easy on 1.
Well, right now we are currently watching the Don John group out here with the Chesapeake 1000. That's where our camera is focused right now with the salvage claw on it. They're trying to grapple some of that bridge debris
Probably too heavy
down
with that
on the
shackle
ribbon
in
bottom.
there with you two.
Well, I think the generator set, if the generator set was not able to deliver as much power as it needed to under load for the system, the circuit breakers would have kicked. But I'm sure they're going to look at all that. They're going to look at all that and see. Carlos, from what we heard in their report, when the anchor was dropped, they couldn't get the brake reset on it. They'd already started making contact with the bridge after the anchor had been played out enough to set it. They couldn't get back to the brake on the winch because debris was falling all around them. So the anchor chain was still basically free spooling off the ship. They couldn't break it. They couldn't get it dogged off. Thank you, Carlos. Yeah, Donald. That's what I read too. That the rudder will work with the emergency power supply, just not at full speed. It's a lot slower to respond to the helm. Thank you, Thomas, for joining us. Thank you. No, Peter, there are no cameras on the claw, on the grapple. And even if there were, I doubt you could see more than a foot, probably less, in this water here in the harbor. A lot of sediment. You wouldn't be able to see. What they use is sonar equipment to help paint a picture for the operator aboard the Chesapeake 1000. The crane operator has access to that real time from the sonar boat. We heard those conversations taking place earlier on the radio.
come on in there.
Another thing that I noticed in a report, or did not notice in a report, that I saw on the Streamtime Live video that was caught when the ship struck the pier, there's a large plume of what appears to be diesel exhaust coming out of the ship. You can see it through the backlight of the Dundalk port area. But I hear no mention of the ship being restarted in reverse. Did anybody see that happen? And if they did they see anything in the report about that? I looked, I did not see that. Sci-Fi, I've seen breakers kick on my boat when my generator dropped out from a fuel-related problem. I had it happen to me one time. My breakers kicked out because they weren't putting out the voltage and the ohms skyrocketed, and that caused the breaker to kick. Now, I'm sure it is not near as sophisticated as the circuitry aboard the dolly, but I have experienced that firsthand. Hey, good afternoon, Derek. Derek from the Food Boat joining us. Thanks for stopping in and saying hello, Derek. Missing you again, brother. Wish you were here. I don't know why my microphone's dropping out. Paul C., thank you very much. If you're just joining us, we're watching the fishing expedition aboard the Chesapeake 1000. I know we probably have a little bit of a lunch crowd that's probably just checking in with us. Good afternoon. The Chesapeake and the Claw are working the area. We've seen it come up. We've seen it go down. They're trying to grapple some of that bridge debris that's still on the river bottom. Thanks, Charles. I couldn't agree with you more. Over on Dr. Mercogliano's channel, What's Going On with Shipping, his breakdown of the NTSB report. And we'll have a link somewhere. If it's not on this, it'll be on the video from last night, the 4K, the modified video we put up from yesterday, to his channel. And the NTSB report is by no means complete. This was a preliminary investigation, and if you know anything about the NTSB and their reports, don't expect the full report for about a year, maybe more. And I can assure you that this is going to be the most heavily investigated marine incident ever in the history of that organization. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the FBI investigation and how that criminal code because it is happening in state waters. That criminal code, the incident happening in state waters, blends with maritime law. The ultimate responsibility for the ship relies with its master, the captain. Cody, thanks for joining us here as a new subscriber. Great to have you aboard. We get so caught up in the discussion. Top Cat reminds us while we're here. Claw's coming back up. I wonder what we were seeing on the video, that big belch of smoke. Or an attempt to restart it. Yeah, that's exactly right, Robert. That ship's direct drive, and the engine is either between the engine so if you're going to reverse a ship engine, it has to come to a complete stop. Not the ship. The mechanical part of the drive line has to come to a complete stop. It started with compressed air. They apply that force back in the pistons, get it spinning back around the opposite direction, restarts the engine in reverse. Still showing that we got pretty good audio coming in. We're green lights all the way across. Yeah, the mic is wireless. Everybody's saying that the mic keeps cutting out, but I'm showing. I don't know what's going on because we're showing audio is getting out like it's supposed to. Not sure what's going on. I can tell you that the wind's coming up, so maybe what you're hearing is some of the wind. Conditions are a little different. Keep in mind, we're not in a studio, we are outside in it. Only thing we've got for protection is a tent, keeping the sun off of us and the leaves from it hitting us in the head. Thanks, John. I'm not sure what's going on with the sound. If you're having trouble with the audio, try restarting the stream and see if that clears it up. I don't know, some of you guys are saying audio is fine. I'm getting out. Some of you are saying audio is breaking up. I don't understand how we're having those kind of issues unless it's maybe a server issue. Try restarting your stream. Thanks, Carlos. And that may be the case. Maybe that is, because it is a windy day here in Baltimore. We've seen the wind blow worse, but it is a little different from what we were experiencing yesterday. Jim, I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe they don't want you to hear what I'm saying. For the life of me, I can't understand it. Thanks, TV. Appreciate it. We're making it all the way over to South Wales. Well, let's get back to the task at hand. It looks like the claw is back up. Again, you guys that have better streaming devices on your end, let me know. Can you guys see anything in the grapple? Thanks, Gerald. There just might be the possibility that the internet might be having some issues depending on where you are. Somebody did say something earlier this week that we were experiencing or should be experiencing some solar flares, and they could possibly have some slight interruptions. Maybe that's what's going on. Thanks, Peter. I cannot tell. I can see the grapple up, but I can't tell what's in it. I can't see what might be in there.
Another like 5 foot, Alex.
No, I haven't heard anything about what's going on with Texas other than a fuel barge struck a bridge, damaged a rail line that may or may not have been in service, but there's oil leaking out of that barge. And from the images I saw, it's impacting that estuary there in Galveston. So are we seeing some cutting going on the ship? Some people are seeing it. Busy day here on the site. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, Scott, that the rail line had not been in service, but the resulting issue is that the bridge now, from what I understand, is closed, and the only way to get on the island that's there is either by a boat or by helicopter, from what I heard. Hopefully they can get a bridge inspection done, and if they get the all clear, they can get the roadway opened back up. I can't imagine having access onto an island from living on an island. That you have to it requires bridge access to get over onto, having the bridge taken out of service, and you really, you'll be, think of everything you would need that had to be moved over by the road and now not available. Okay, Barge. So they are letting some people go. They're just not loading the bridge up. They don't want a lot of weight on the bridge. That's understandable. Thanks, Tim. So maybe they're having trouble here. Maybe catching debris is proven to be a little more difficult in this area. But whatever is down there has got to come up. Now, Keith, that's another good question. Was the fuel going into the generators? Was that running through a central filtering system? Did each engine have its own individual filter system? We don't know. I'm sure that when the report comes out from the NTSB, when the final report comes out, all those possibilities will be explored. Yeah.
Tied up to the pipe.
I think Keith saying back there is understanding systems, multiple engines on a vessel, and how those systems are fueled. They can vary. Ships are just as individual as people are. They have different characteristics, different traits, different ways they're plumbed. So Bird, each one of those engines has its own filter system. I wonder what the actual power plants were. I know that they said the main engine was a Hyundai MAN. I don't know what the generator systems, what power plants they were using on those generator systems. All that's going to come out. Smoky Bandit coming up and saying they've closed the bridge now again over there in Galveston. So interesting development. That means maybe they do have to bring a ferry in. I saw that in the chat. Zero, you're up at 2 a.m. Saturday morning. I'm glad to get your weekend started here live from Baltimore. It's Thursday here. I think it's Thursday.
Tommy.
Just looks like about 12:30 in Baltimore, early afternoon.
I just want to
Day
make sure
tank.
that at least the starboard
Yeah,
side is down as far as it will go.
Have never been on the ship. Don't know anything about the systems that are on it. Somebody does. They're going to look at those. They will figure it out. Smokey, I was thinking about that. Where did we lose 2 days in the international timeline? Zero must be really ahead of the curve. Thanks, Tiger. Gary, thank you for becoming a sailor here in the Minorcan Navy. You guys that have stepped up with the memberships, thank you so much. That helps us tremendously. I didn't hear any word about the bow thruster. I did see how it was wired into the system and thought that was interesting.
Starboard spud is lower than the gangway.
Oh, good.
That ought to give you plenty of room.
Now I know that the ship's main propulsion unit will run on either that bunker C, that heavy fuel oil that's a lot cheaper to buy than, say, the low sulfur fuel that's required for those ships to switch over to before they come into an American port. Are the generators aboard the ship the same way? Do they operate on that heavy C as well when they're at sea? Or I've also heard that sometimes there's a piggyback system off the main engine, and when the main engine is at speed, they're able to engage that system and run a separate generating plant on some ships. Again, I don't know how the dolly was configured there, and every ship it's an individual, and it's hard to find two that are just alike. Iowa, I don't know. I don't know how much. Haven't heard any call. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're trying to grapple either. Ronald, I'm going to assume, now this is, again, I don't know the ship system, but they were servicing the diesel scrubber on that generating system. If you have 4 diesel engines, and this is mere speculation on my part, if you have 4 diesel engines that are running through one scrubber, I can understand how that mistake could have been made, and they closed the damper to the engine that was running when they were servicing that damper. I hope that makes sense. Trying to make out what you guys are seeing here. Water being sprayed up on the ship. That's usually not a good thing. I'm looking to see where that might be going on. Is it a restricted airspace over the site? Yeah, you betcha. You betcha. 2 miles. 2 miles out, 1,500 feet above. This is a TFR, temporary flight restricted area. No drone from us. We'd love to drone over it. And we have seen drones flying above our heads, and we've seen drones we've caught on video out at the site. We like to stay on the good side of the FAA. Got a lot invested in both pilot's license and the UAV 107 commercial license. Don't want to jeopardize the ticket. Thank you. We'll keep the drone on the ground. Timothy, I don't know. And I'm wondering if that's CV, which that's an aircraft carrier, right? Do I understand that? CV might be a Navy thing. But here, typically, from what we understand in the report, operations normally executed where that tugs would come in, they would get the ship away from the berth, they would engage the main engine on the ship, and then head out unaided. Steve, you go into, Augusta's a long trip. Made it several times. There's no good way to get to Augusta from anywhere in Georgia, unless you are in Augusta. Steve understands that. Yeah, you don't even want to have a kayak out there. We've seen what happens when you get a kayak too close to the site. 4,000 of you here with us. What we're watching is continuing salvage operations in Baltimore. We've been watching the Chesapeake 1000 with the salvage claw fitted to it. That is the yellow boom that is in the left-hand side of the screen, and the cables that are coming down are coming from the tip of the Chesapeake, and they're going down to that massive salvage grapple, the claw, or as it's going to be known out at the site by the crews, Gus. Gus is down. We've seen it come up, go back down, come back up. Whatever they're trying to get off, either they're off balance with it or they're having a hard time getting it in the grapple. Maybe we'll see something in the claw. That blue structure building is part of the Don John Chesapeake, or no, it actually may be another Don John asset there. It looks like that might be either the Oyster Bay, maybe the Oyster Bay. It's another derrick barge. That's another derrick Don John asset. That's what that blue structure is. It's actually on the deck of the derrick barge. You guys want to take a look around and see what's going on? Sure, we can do that. Looks like supply boat is back over at the dolly. It's the second time we've seen a crew boat pull up to the side of the ship there. A little bit of activity there going on. We've got that darn flagpole in the way here. Still waiting to see what comes up here. And we've seen some activity going on over here as well today. You can see it looks like they've got a man lift up. Crew's working in there, and it may be that that crane is the Baltimore. It looks like they possibly have to I've seen two separate excavators out here. There may be more now. One was fitted with a grapple on the end, and one had a shear, a big steel shear on it, on the excavator. I don't know what's going on with the audio wise. Some of you guys are having trouble with it and some are not. I think it's a solar flare. Batteries are good, and from what we're seeing on our meter here, our audio output is excellent. So really not sure what's going on with the audio portion of it, and it seems to be just some areas. We're going to do a speed check just to check the internet here locally. I do like to do that from time to time. There was a big report out that said we could expect some problems from some solar flares that were anticipated. I did say solar flare. Our speed test checks out perfect. We should be in the clear here. Let's see if this is the problem. Ta-da! Hopefully that's better. Yeah, battery monster got me again. It's not just my mic, it's the receiver as well, and it's duplicated on another system that's monitoring the radio. Hopefully that's a little better back on your end now, guys. All right, we're back with you guys. Sound instated. So I've been on this shot here. We're going to give Gus a break for just a minute because I saw a man lift working in here, and it looks to me like they have a good portion of steel rigged up to the Baltimore, and they may be working on cutting that. Kenneth, no, we have an M-class flare. I didn't know that solar flares were classified. We just had them. Interesting. Yeah, what's going on here is outside the channel. Bill, you're exactly correct. But I can see cutting torches out, so I feel very confident in saying that the Baltimore is in fact rigged to that piece of steel, and they're in the process of cutting it. Bear with me. We have come to that portion of the broadcast where we have chewed up another battery in the camera. Just when all the action has started and we see some cutting going on, this happens. We're going to get another battery in right now. Hopefully, you guys will be able to get the image back here. Hopefully, you guys can see it now. We may have zoomed in a little tighter here. Guys, if that's too much, let me know. You know, sometimes we have streams where there's just so much action going on at one time, we can't follow it all. And then we have days where not so much is going on. But I think all of that is part of the story. Sometimes we're going to have good days with a lot of stuff going on, and some days not so much. That's the nature of the business and how things go. But it's also a big part of the story of getting the port opened back up and commerce restored here in Baltimore. Just so you know, we're kind of keeping an eye with the other camera, the 4K camera, on what's going on with the Chesapeake. If we see anything from over there, we're going to go right back over there.
Now, 45 tons. Alright, we're gonna start cutting on. We'll keep an eye on, see if we need to adjust. Alright. I want you to table it down. Swing to your right. Okay.
The Chesapeake is over with the claw, working on trying to grab some more of the debris. We've seen it go up and down several times. I haven't seen it come up with any debris. The 533 was repositioned, but the blocks are still up on that crane. Now there is some activity going on. We've seen a couple cranes swinging over some what appeared to be equipment. And then there is some activity going on with the dredge on the opposite side of the ship. We can't see what's going on from our vantage point over there, but we know they're over there by looking at the marine tracker. I can make out the boom on the man lift that's cutting that vertical beam that the Baltimore crane has rigged. I haven't seen any flashes from the torch over there. In a few minutes, we'll scan back over and take a look. Give you guys an image of what's going on over here. It might be that the salvage claw is on the way back up. This is the action that's going on over on the bow of the ship, which we don't really see a lot going on there. Maybe we can get this in the frame where we can see both at the same time. We do have crane movement back on the back side. Christopher, that's an extreme possibility. You know, the muddy bottom here in the river might lend to that piece settling. Scouring is a slight issue is here. Jeff, that's going to be interesting to see when that happens. You guys that are just joining us, Jeff Ostruff is here in the chat. Jeff has been following this story along on his channel. If you guys do yourself a favor, if you haven't been over to his channel and checked it out, do that. You're going to want to subscribe. Looks like they do have some recreational traffic that is working its way up the river, passing by the site.
Yeah, I can't load this with them on the barge, but I'm not sure if I'm even ready.
Jim, we can't see the Cashman dredge, Dale Pyatt, from our vantage point. It is on the opposite, on the port side of the ship. They're working over there. We've heard radio traffic. Yeah, that preliminary NTSB report opened a little bit of, it kind of cracked the door a little bit into the investigation. We won't know the full report for a while. Usually those reports take a long time to compile. There's a lot of things about the electrical system, Jeff, that I've, you know, in reading the report, from what I gather, when they changed over to the number 3 generator, the generating system on the ship, it doesn't sound to me like it was operating at full capacity, with a fuel pressure issue that they're still looking at. I think that would be very beneficial to look at and to understand the systems of how they're able to connect them, and then also, if you do have a dropout on one, what the procedure is for getting the other back in line. And we saw that in the report that the number 1 and the number 2 generating systems were shut down while they were in port. They'd been operating for quite a while. The report said about a month and a half. And they wanted to change over to the other generating systems, probably to balance out the time on the engines. That's understandable. At the time when the ship left the berth, they may have very well been all in the green. But keep in mind there are a lot of containers on that ship that had refrigerating systems on it that required electrical power to operate. Is it possible that while they were in transit, those refrigerating systems required more load? Maybe the systems kicked on. If they didn't have the fuel pressure necessary to run the generating system up to full capacity, that would have caused a dropout. There's a lot of investigations still to take place, and they're checking the circuitry. NTSB is looking at all those angles.
Drive by, but just a little further out to get a better picture.
What we saw here with the failures could have just been, it could have been the perfect storm of issues and the way the systems that they had online at the time just materialized into an issue that developed at the most inopportune time. That traffic you're hearing in the background, I think, is coming from the operation with the Dale Pyatt dredge on the port side of the ship.
Go for it. Ready?
Well, it looks like they were able to get that piece down over with the Baltimore. We saw them working on a piece of vertical pipe there. They were cutting it. Looks like they got through it. And they swung it over. We've been focusing over here on the Chesapeake and the salvage claw.
I'll get it. Right. Too, I could probably cut that center one to, yeah, whatever you want to do, buddy.
We'll see if we can get in there. Any tighter. You know, when we start to really zoom in, we start to lose a little bit of clarity. But we'll try to get in there and see what's going on. When we zoom in, we really start to have some issues with clarity of the image. That's what we're seeing there in that bow area. We got to back out of that. It's just a little too tight. Keep in mind, guys, we're about a mile and a half, a little over a mile and a half away from the site. Still a mess on the bow of the ship. And through that, there's an orange, looks like an orange container there that's crushed pretty good. And then just above that, you can make out part of the roadway still laying on the ship. I'm sure that whatever material they've got that fell during the demolition that is alongside the ship in that area, they're probably going to want to clear that out. Probably going to want to make sure that that is all clear so that they don't damage the hull of the ship in it. You don't want to have a piece of steel push through the hull of the ship and compromise any more of the ship. Thank you, Tiger. We do see some cranes kind of moving over in that area. And it appears to be the 533 is rotating. Trying to make out what they're moving. They have something on the end of the block there. Maybe another work box. It's a windy day. You can see a couple flags out there flying out at the site. Jeff, I need to get with you. I need to get with you and get you on the channel. I have let me see if I can throw Jeff, I'm going to put up my email there. Shoot me an email when you get the opportunity. Let's try to get together. Love to get you on the channel here. FMJ Salvage. Is that a Miami-based operation? Good to have you back. All right, let's take a look. We'll see what's going on with the weeks. Looks like whatever they had, they're working down onto the barge. Again, we've seen a lot going on at the site today, but we haven't seen a lot of debris coming up off the bottom. We know they're trying. We have seen that salvage claw go up and down many times, but we really haven't seen a lot of really any substantial debris coming up and being placed on the deck. When we first got here this morning and were rushing to get set up, we did see something come up with the claw. It went over onto the barge. But it hasn't been a lot of activity there. They haven't gotten a lot of material, really anything we've seen come up. We could hear radio traffic, and we know that they were working with the sonar boat, getting images. Gust to 20. See the weeks block going back up. Wind is up, guys. We'll try to show you our wind indicator here over at Brandon Shores power plant. That condensation coming out laid down pretty good here in this breeze we're having here today in Baltimore. We've seen some work going on here at the north span today. We've been watching this area right here. We came on just after 10 o'clock this morning. We'll probably go to just about 2 o'clock. We'll probably have about another 30 minutes here of the live stream. And then we will retreat back to the remote studio here in Baltimore so that we can get some of the 4K footage up for you guys this evening.
like I said, man, I'm sorry, I can't hold it. As soon as you put pressure on it, I get pushed away. You'll have to drop something. Back front, you're not going to hold the front. They're going to be flopping all over. Looks like it's that mooring line on the ship. They wrapped it around the bridge.
Excuse the earthquake.
Can you do it or no? It looks like the spud's down. Yeah, they're pretty much there. Touch mud.
Keep wondering if we're going to see anything come up with the claw today. it might be one of those. It might be one of those days. You know, we do see that claw go up. It's a slow process. We know that from every lift we have seen with the Chesapeake. Yeah, the stern of that tug is right there between in the frame. Thanks, Mike. You know, maybe one day folks will look back at these images that we've collected over the few years that we've been doing this and appreciate the work that the groups we've seen and the work that has gone on. Yeah, maybe one day. We can only hope. Not sure how much. 1,000 tons is a lot of force. We've seen the Dale Pyatt working over on the other side of the ship, over on that starboard side. And not only are we have seen them working over here, so we know what the operation, how it works. But what they're pretty proficient at what they do over off that dredge barge with that clamshell. It looks like they do have some stuff to come off the ship. Not sure how much of that will come off before they try to move the ship. Thanks for joining us, John. Appreciate you being here. Thanks, Tiger. It's amazing, this Minorcan Navy that's assembled itself here on this channel, the different aspects and what so many different of our subscribers bring collectively to the group is impressive. We appreciate everybody that's in here with us. We're going to have about 15 minutes left here in the live stream today, guys, before we close it out. We have seen a lot of activity, but not a lot of debris today. Of course, yesterday's live stream was a little bit later, and we did see a lot of action yesterday. And I suppose some days are like that. We're going to have some days that are more productive than others. Always good to have Rosedale here with us. Thanks, John. It looks like definitely the claw is now visible, so we know it's coming back up.
That's definitely the mooring line to the ship, just let you know.
I hope nobody has caught the mooring line to the ship. Did you guys catch that radio traffic?
Cut it below that cable. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it right where I'm at. Ahead. Alright, we're gonna all stop on this one there, my friend. We're gonna go over to the Cape May. Don't cut that. Alright. Go back over to the Cape May, and then we're gonna be tied up to the Cape May and be able to do this easier. Hey, Sean, you want me to cut your headline and pull you out? No, I'll be alright. Give me a second. No, I'll be alright. You call me here, Richie? I'm in. Ed? Go ahead, pull that spud there.
Wind still coming up, still blowing. We've had a pretty steady breeze, stiff breeze today out at the site.
I guess you got a big hole to put it through. Okay.
Thanks, Ronald. Glad you guys are here with us. It's going to be interesting to see on the 4K video tonight when we get that up from the telescopic camera how many times we've seen the claw go up and down. Trying to make out what that claw is doing. Again, not sure if they're coming up with something or if they're trying to lower it. Carmen, there's no doubt that Demolition did make a mess. Did it make things worse? I don't think so. They had to come up with a way of dealing with that span across the bridge, and I'm not sure that putting guys out there with torches was the safest thing to do. I'm sure the powers that be, when they looked at all the options, obviously decided that was the best one to take. But there's all that material went back down in the water, so you got to get that stuff back up and out of there. Thanks, Charles. Charles giving us a report that she's headed back down. And maybe it is they've latched onto something and they're trying to get it pulled loose from some other debris that may be on it. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that's right, Christopher. Maybe that's what they're doing. Now we can't see the claw. The claw is back down. If you look just to the end of the weeks 533 crane, at the end of that house, that red house there, there's some vertical cable coming down to a red block, and it drops down to some rigging where it's attached to a green spreader. Claw is underneath that. That's where the claw is attached. Take a quick look around the site. We're coming up on about 4 minutes here, 4 or 5 minutes left in the stream, and we'll be concluding today's live stream. We've got to get back across the river through the tunnel. Traffic has a tendency to get to be a real bear around Baltimore if you don't hit it at the right time. Nothing really going on in that area. All the assets are either concentrated around this north or east main support pillar, or we've seen a little activity going on there today, or over here at the bow of the ship. They've been working here all day, and it looks like it's been a little bit of a slow day. We've seen these days with a lot of production, and then here we have a day where maybe not so much from our vantage point. It's hard for us to tell. Again, we're over 1.5 miles away from the site, and we're only getting this side of the ship. Thanks, John, for joining us. Thank you so much. Again, a very big thanks go out to our moderators, Tiger, Teresa, Captain Brian. Thank you guys for being in here today on a breezy day in Baltimore. Thank you guys so much for your time here today. We enjoy what we're doing here and being able to bring this live to you from what we do in our vantage point. It's an honor to have all you guys participating with us here. If you haven't done it yet, we're going to ask that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'll be moving the chats into subscriber only mode, so if you aren't subscribed to the channel, you're not going to be able to queue in on the chats with us. We think that's something we owe our subscribers. We're getting so many people in the live stream now that the chat really becomes cluttered. We'll remind you that we do have memberships available. Love to see you guys take advantage of that. You guys get to see the videos that we post in the evening. You guys get the opportunity to see those first. Thanks again to everybody that's been watching. And as always, we want to say, you guys be safe out there.